feel some fear, right? Didn't I tell you that? Didn't I tell you you're gonna feel some fear you ain't felt? We gonna talk about, don't do that.
The world of boxing is no stranger to heated exchanges and intense rivalries, but the clash between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney has reached new heights of drama, intrigue, and controversy. As the two fighters prepare for their rematch, the anticipation is palpable. The events that have led to this point are fraught with animosity, accusations, and emotional confrontations both inside and outside the ring. The first major confrontation occurred during a press conference where the tension between Garcia and Haney was so thick it could be felt by everyone in the room. Garcia, who had always projected confidence, seemed unfazed by Haney's presence despite the simmering anger between them. Words were exchanged in rapid-fire succession, with each fighter trying to undermine the other's credibility. Garcia wasted no time in accusing Haney of doping, bringing up the issue of performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs, and questioning Haney's use of them in previous bouts. "PEDs won't save you from my left hook," Garcia boldly declared, asserting that his skill and training, rather than any illicit substances, were the true sources of his strength. The altercation quickly escalated, with both fighters taking personal shots at one another, pushing each other to the edge. As Garcia launched his accusations, he made it clear that his motive wasn't just about taking down Haney in the ring. He was determined to clear his name from the doping allegations that had clouded his own career. "I didn't take steroids," he asserted repeatedly, emphasizing that his victory over Haney would be a testament to his hard work and dedication, not to any shortcuts. For Garcia, this was more than just a fight. It was an opportunity to reclaim his integrity in the face of accusations that had dogged him for months. The tension only intensified as Garcia continued his verbal assault, questioning Haney's honesty. "Where's your little brother?" Garcia asked, referring to Haney's younger sibling, who was allegedly aware of the doping rumors long before they surfaced publicly. Haney, visibly agitated, refused to engage with Garcia's line of questioning, opting instead to deflect and steer the conversation away from the sensitive topic of PEDs. It was clear that the fight wasn't just about boxing anymore. It had become a battle for reputation and pride. In the face of this, Haney remained cool, though the anger was evident in his words. He was focused on the fight ahead, but there was no doubt that the shadow of Garcia's accusations hung heavily over his thoughts. "Right now, my focus is on Jose Ramirez," Haney said, attempting to shift the narrative away from his rivalry with Garcia while acknowledging the importance of their eventual rematch. Haney knew that he couldn't afford to overlook his current challenge. "I have to get past Ramirez first before I can think about Ryan," he added. The pressure was on Haney to defeat Ramirez and prove himself once more, especially after the first loss to Garcia, which had left a bitter taste in his mouth. Haney's resolve to focus on his current opponent was clear, but the shadow of Garcia loomed large. Garcia had already proven his dominance in their first fight, and Haney knew that if he didn't perform well in his upcoming bout, the calls for a rematch with Garcia would only grow louder. But Haney was determined to learn from his past mistakes, vowing to come into each fight more prepared than before. "I've been looking at the mistakes I made in the first fight with Ryan, and I'm working on perfecting them," Haney explained. He hoped the rematch would offer a chance to show how much he had improved. However, despite his insistence that his primary focus was on Ramirez, Haney couldn't escape the looming rematch with Garcia. The hype surrounding their rivalry was too strong, and no matter what happened in his next fight, people wanted to see the two fighters go toe-to-toe again. Much as Haney tried to downplay the rematch, the fans and analysts were already discussing it in full force. "This rematch is inevitable," trainer Robert Garcia said, offering his thoughts on the situation. "Even if Haney loses to Ramirez, people still want to see him fight Ryan again." And it wasn't just the fans who were clamoring for a rematch. Fellow fighters, including Rolly Romero, weighed in on the situation, giving their opinions on the rivalry. Romero didn't mince words, calling Haney's previous performance against Garcia a loss, despite the controversy surrounding the fight. "Ryan Garcia knocked him out. He already beat him," Romero said bluntly, adding to the growing narrative that Garcia had the upper hand. Romero's comments reflected the broader sentiment within the boxing community, with many believing Garcia had proven himself to be the superior fighter in their first encounter. Garcia's victory over Haney in their initial bout had been nothing short of stunning. Ryan Garcia delivered a blistering performance in his first FE fight against Devin Haney, knocking him down with a left hook that no one saw coming. The victory not only propelled Garcia into the spotlight, but also ignited a series of controversies surrounding the legitimacy of his win. Haney's team quickly accused Garcia of cheating, claiming that his performance-enhancing drug PED test results had tainted the victory. This sparked a legal battle that would drag on for months, with Garcia vehemently denying the allegations and insisting that he had always tested clean throughout his career. The legal proceedings became a focal point in their rivalry, with Garcia's reputation hanging in the balance. Haney's lawsuit against him for battery and bodily harm was seen by many as an attempt to discredit Garcia's win, but the legal system ultimately sided with Garcia, and the lawsuit was dismissed. The ruling was a major vindication for Garcia, allowing him to move forward without the weight of doping accusations looming over him. "This is a huge win for me," Garcia said after the ruling, relieved to have the controversy put to rest. "Now I can focus on the fight and prove that I'm the real deal." But even with the legal battles behind him, Garcia knew that the road ahead would still be filled with challenges. The boxing community remained divided over the legitimacy of his victory, with some fans and analysts continuing to question whether his win was truly earned. Garcia, however, remained steadfast in his belief that his skills and training were the true keys to his success. "I've always tested clean," he reiterated. "That's what I want people to remember. This is all about proving that I'm the best, no matter what anyone says." As the rematch with Haney draws nearer, the stakes have never been higher. Both fighters have something to prove. Garcia wants to silence the doubters and reaffirm his place as one of the best in the sport, while Haney is determined to get revenge and reclaim his reputation. The build-up to their second fight has been filled with drama, accusations, and public confrontations, making it one of the most highly anticipated bouts in recent boxing history. Amid all the controversy, Garcia has gained a new wave of support. Some fans see him as a symbol of resilience and determination, admiring his ability to overcome the doubts and setbacks that have plagued him. Even controversial figure Andrew Tate publicly expressed his admiration for Garcia's boxing skills. Tate's endorsement added an interesting layer to Garcia's public image, aligning him with a polarizing personality, but also providing further validation in the eyes of his fans. For Garcia, though, the focus remains squarely on the rematch with Haney. He knows that this is his chance to prove, once and for all, that he is the superior fighter. "I'm just focused on the fight," Garcia said. "I've been doing this my whole life, and I'm not going to let anything distract me from my goal." The stage is set for an explosive showdown, and fans are eagerly awaiting what promises to be a thrilling conclusion to one of boxing's most intense rivalries. The fallout from their first encounter still reverberates throughout the boxing world, with debates about PEDs, cheating, and fairness continuing to fuel the conversation. But for both Garcia and Haney, the rematch is about more than just settling scores. It's about proving their worth and solidifying their legacies in the sport. As the countdown to the rematch continues, the tension between the two fighters only grows, and the boxing world waits with bated breath to see who will come out on top. The stage is set, and the stakes couldn't be higher.